Scout and I are here in the woods. We're going to do an overnighter tonight. I got my new Go Light pack. I haven't used it on an overnighter yet. I was supposed to do a 3-day backpacking trip last weekend, but it got canceled. So ever since then, I've been really itching to get out. I loaded this thing up with about 30 pounds of gear, a lot of food, and some heavy gear in order to simulate what I would have for about a week. So 30 pounds is right where I want to max this thing out at. Walked around here for about an hour. It's okay. The reason I switched up my bags is because I was only using a 29-liter Everly stock pack, and I had to lash my sleeping bag to the bottom. I really didn't like that. So I got everything in here, lots of food, lots of heavy gear, a saw, axe, or not a saw, just an axe. So we'll do an overnighter and have some fun.
I've cleared a big area where Scout's sitting so that no leaves blow into my fire and catch my shelter on fire. It's supposed to be a little bit windy tonight, so I am using a down sleeping bag with a fire, so I gotta be careful.
I didn't bring a saw this time, so it'll be my axe and my knife I'm using today for tools. My knife, I got this little one, like 3-inch blade, so see how that works out. A little bit of change of plans. I originally went with a bipod for the half of my shelter, but it didn't seem sturdy enough for me, for my liking at least, so I'm just gonna lash a third log onto here. No big difference. Sometimes things don't work out the way that you think they are going to, so I'm just adapting and dealing with it, so no big deal. Okay, good. So then I got the wind going parallel with my shelter. Okay, that's going to come down some. I want it to be about chest height. It's about good there. Okay, good.
There's what my frame looks like. Now to get the tarp on.
I've never tried this kind of tarp shelter before. I was researching a little bit on in my preparation for coming out here, and I watched a YouTube video again by Iowa Woodsman called this just I think a modified lean-to. But what's going to happen is I'm going to have a bit of sides to it as well to kind of keep the wind out of the little shelter. So I need to mark where I'm going to put 2 logs going down. So I'm just going to, outside of my tarp, I'm going to make a notch with my knife so that I know to tie a log there, and one there. Here's the finished product. It's a little bit different than what I planned on doing, but I think it worked out fine for me. The one that Iowa Woodsman showed in his video, you didn't have to use any stakes, and I think that was the point, but no big deal. It doesn't have to be a certain way. So I got my cross piece lashed. Got one pole here, both lashed. I've got a pole running on the bottom, 6 inches from the ground, lashed to the two of these poles. Okay. So I've got the tarp on a diagonal, wrapped around the top, the tarp wrapped around the bottom, and normally in his video he showed them tying together, but it just wasn't happening for me. So I'm just going to leave that piece down like there. I've staked it out a tiny bit here, and I pounded the stake right flush with the ground. I'm just going to actually use that as like kind of a ground sheet, if you will. It's not going to cover me, or it's not going to, I'm not going to be able to fit I'm going to be bigger than it, but it's no big deal. It's just extra stuff on the ground. I staked it out over there. I tied it up to the tree, so I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. As you probably guessed or saw when I was chopping the logs, these logs are punky and wet. Chop through them really easily, but they're going to be used as a fire reflector, so that's totally fine. I saved myself a little bit of energy by chopping through sturdy, dry, seasoned wood. I'm saving that kind of wood for my fire, and I'm actually prolonging the life of this, it being wet, so even better. I'm off to go get some more wood for the reflector now. Well, here's my view from inside the shelter. My reflector's all set up. Put a real nasty log on top there, but nice and easy. I got that done in about 10 minutes total, cutting the stakes and everything, so not too bad. I've gathered all that wood right there in about 10 minutes, and really it's bone dry, and I haven't really had to use my axe too much, maybe on a couple pieces. That's one of the reasons I specifically chose this spot. I was walking around the woods for about an hour looking for a spot, and here, right where I am right now, you can see there's not really too thick of trees. Like in the distance there is, but right here I got a quite big open space right here. Lots of sun, well, lots of clear sky at least, and lots of firewood. So I'm really happy in this location. I looked overhead, there's not too many widowmakers or anything. There's one guy over there, but even if he falls, he's not coming anywhere near me. So nice big maple tree right there. I'm liking this spot. The sun is actually out right now for the first time today, so looking good. Time to take a break. I haven't drank anything since before I came out here, which was about 3.5 hours ago. So gotta keep on that. I brought 2 Nalgene's full of water, again just to add more weight to my bag. I got this cooling rack for my mom, and it looks to me like it'd make a great grill. So it's about, I don't know, 3 inches off the ground with the legs. So I think I'm going to try that out today. Cook a steak up on that. I ended up bringing the 14 centimeter billy. It's way overkill. I don't even need it really just to boil water. I could have brought my titanium cook's solo kit, but again, to add weight. So got some eggs in there. That'll be for morning. My titanium spoon so it won't break my spork again. I think it's going to be a good night. It's going to be get to around positive 3 Celsius, but feel like 0. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, right around freezing, 30, 35 maybe. But kind of chilly. I got my positive 3 Celsius bag with a sleeping pad, and I got like a down jacket. I'm going to be more than fine. Bought a book by John Crowker. I think it's the same guy who wrote Into the Wild. So read that. It's about a expedition on Mount Everest. Should be good. Just hang out with the doggy. Okay, so all that firewood you see there, and plus more leaning on the rack, I have to cut down to size now. I've decided I'm not using a long fire tonight, so I'm gonna have to break them probably each of these into 2 or 3 pieces, and be using my axe for that. Alright, well, I've done everything. I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish already this trip, which is the fire reflector, the new tarp setup. I guess that's not that much. I do want to make a pot hanger. It's not necessary. I have that little grill, but I feel like making a pot hanger, so I'm going to. I've got my wood here. It's not that much. It's good enough to get me till I want to go to bed, though. Like I said, I'm not going to rely on a long fire tonight. So, got some grasses from the field. I'm going to start it that way, make a couple shavings or whatnot. I'm happy. It's a good day.
From the side here, you can see just how much coverage I do have on the sides by setting the tarp up like this. I think it's going to work out pretty well. I've been wanting to give this little knife a workout, so I'm going to use the knife instead of the axe for this part of it. So I'm just going to get rid of these branches. This part here will be my pot hook, so I'm going to keep a little bit of the nub for the hook itself, like that, and then just probably that's long enough there. Just baton that off, so I'll have a little pot holder. Excuse me. This is nothing new. Everybody's seen this. Leave it still. Hey, 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 leave my baton alone. What are you doing? Silly dog. Starting to chill down a bit. So I want to get rid of these little nubs, and I want to make the end flat so it will rest in the notches that I made on the pot holder itself. This will just be the stand, what keeps it in place. I like this little knife. It's a Salilo Bushcrafter. Should do. And just got to make this end into a spear point. I don't use any fancy forks or anything to hold it up. I just kind of jam it into the ground and kind of test out where it's going to hang. Hang right there. That seems suitable to me. And potatoes that I already wrapped. So in here there's cut up potatoes, a bunch of onions, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and butter. Scout right now is smelling my steak like crazy. So I would rather give it to him raw than cooked. It's better for him. You better make this last, dude. This is all you're getting. Here, come on. Good boy. Go on. Chew it up. He was just gonna swallow it at first. I'm gonna use some of this dead grass I collected. I didn't make any shavings or whatever. Just some pencil thickness stuff, so should be fine. That's easy enough. Here's the beauty of a long fire. I still have my fire over there, cook on the coals on this side, and have my potatoes in the coals here. Smoke is blowing sideways, which is good. Everything's going good. The grill worked good.
Oh man. Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah. Real good looking.
Out in the field enjoying the sunrise this morning, and go back and make some bacon and eggs.
They're still nice and hot. Try and build a fire up on top of it.
Oh yeah, the eggs are done perfectly too.
There you can see the framework without the tarp on it. Got everything packed up in my pack. Just got to take down the paracord and disperse those logs. I'm gonna end up walking around for a couple hours just to test the pack out some more. It's 9:15 right now. Probably get picked up around 10:30 or 11 or so. The beauty of using these lashes is that it's super easy to undo, and you're not end up cutting your paracord because you can't undo a knot or whatnot. So, never really used lashes too much before, but I did it purposefully this trip, and I'm glad I did.
These were all of the logs used in construction of that shelter. There were 7 of them in total. So this is where the shelter was, tied to this tree. Tripod's gone, fire filter's gone, everything's picked up.